Hold on. Gotta take a kombucha sip before I start. So, looking at the lighting, I usually do these in the morning, and I don't know why I do them in the morning, because I'm usually tired in the morning, even when I have my coffee. Maybe I'll have to do videos at night going forward, so what's up? Today I'm gonna talk about some rare and unusual books. I don't know, kind of probably the 5 most interesting conversation pieces that I have on my shelf. So, like a podcaster 45 minutes into his first podcast, let's just jump into it. This first one, some of you may recognize this, some of you may not, and that's okay, because this is just a random literary nerd book. I know that Leaf by Leaf has a copy of one of these, and I know that Drake from the Orpheus channel has one of these. This is Bottom's Dream by Arno Schmidt. It is 1,457 pages long. It was translated by John Wood, and again, this is how large it is. Me, for size, I have a ginormous noggin, so it's very big, is the point, and I want you to be impressed. So what is Bottom's Dream? Bottom's Dream is sometimes referred to as the German Finnegan's Wake. Arno Schmidt. This is a translation from the original German. However, the book is in that Finnegan's Wake tradition, a polylingual, honorific carnival of language and literature. It is damn near incomprehensible. Certainly, at this point, incomprehensible to me. I mean, what ostensibly goes on, as I understand it, in this book is that it's a couple literary types. It's like a writer and a translator, or maybe a literary scholar. They kind of meet up, and one of them brings their wife and kid along with them, and it takes place over 25 hours, and they just talk about the work of Edgar Allan Poe, apparently. Amongst other things, but there's not the action of the novel is just a vehicle for a lot of the idiosyncratic language. His particular writing style, he has 3 columns, and 2 of the columns are footnotes, though I guess those wouldn't be footnotes, one of those wing notes. This book came out originally in 1971, and Delkey just reprinted, or translated for the first time, not reprinted, about 2,000 copies, as I understand. There is, I find this very humorous, as someone who was technically a Delkey archive proofreader for about 6 months, maybe that'll be another video. This epigraph, the only part of the book that I can kind of read without confusion, has a typo in it. I believe it's a put instead of a but, P-U-T instead of a B-U-T. Very excited to be confused at it for the rest of my life. This next book is sometimes called the Spanish Finnegan's Wake, or maybe Julian Rios is the Spanish Arno Schmidt. This is Larva, A Midsummer Night's Babel by Julian Rios. It takes a Don Juan character. I believe there's a lot of sex in it, as you might expect from a Don Juan based novel. Maybe I can read from some of this. 600 pages textually abused with lusty rations of illustrations. The larva, mask and ghost, of Don Juan at his own party in the imbroglio of expeditions through London of 2 harebrained characters who think they're characters and try to fill the shoes of their doubles, Babel and Malleus, whom they created to prolong life in fiction, and vice versa. A fun little book about metafictional characters and polylinguistic puns. But it's Spanish. Both of these books I've flipped around and just sort of, stared at confusedly for a couple minutes, but I haven't taken them on quite yet. Give me some time. Gotta read the OG. I gotta read Finnegan's Wake at some point. This next book, it's the first double volume book that I'm gonna show you, and this is, and of course I have mismatched volumes. This is Miss Macintosh, My Darling. This is the version from the 90s, this is the version from the 70s, and this was originally released in 1964, and Marguerite Young, the author, spent nearly 20 years writing it. It is about a woman on a cross-country bus trip who is trying to track down her old like nanny or nursemaid, I believe, in Whatcheer, Iowa. And I should say cross country here means, I think, Indiana to Iowa, so not cross country in the least. But it's one of these very densely written texts with worlds and worlds of digressions and characters. It has very hallucinatory text. There's this scene very early on that talks about the color of a silk dress of someone else who's on the bus. Kind of a whole acid dream of a silk dress, I guess, because it just goes into this like pages long description. At the center of it, I believe it's the narrator's mother is in the throes or in the midst of, I believe she's on her deathbed and she's kind of in an opium dream. And so that's kind of at the center of all this, and that permeates out throughout the whole novel. Interesting tidbit that I learned from the back cover was that Marguerite Young is apparently a descendant of Brigham Young. And isn't that interesting? Founder of the Mormon Church. Founder? He's the Moses, right? Yes, because Joseph Smith. Dum 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 dum. This next book, it's called Take 5 by D. Keith Mano. And I got, I have a first edition here. It's worn, the binding's a little loose, so, but still eminently readable. Stars a character who is a Christian filmmaker, I believe, or at least he's trying to make a film that's somewhat Christian in nature, because I believe it's called Jesus 2001 or something. But it's called Take 5 because throughout the whole book, kind of chapter by chapter, it's about 600 pages. Okay, no, maybe not. Oh wait, no, yes it is, because it counts down. Yeah, it's just shy in my edition of 600 pages. It's 583. But at the end of each section, the character, who is a very loathsome film director in every way imaginable, is losing one of his senses. And so, 5 senses are taken from him. Some important voices, not mine, some important voices say it's very important. And isn't that the point to only and ever... no, I'm just kidding. And finally, there's a lot more of a... it's a double volume. And this is Sironia, Texas, by Madison Cooper Jr. And Sironia, Texas is a lightly fictionalized Waco, Texas. And my dad is actually from Waco, Texas. And I got this from a guy who was a bookseller in Waco. Or it was gifted to me through one of my dad's, you know. He's got the connect in the Waco book scene. The cool thing about this book is that it is the longest... supposedly, it is the longest novel in the English language that was originally, or I guess it's the longest American novel. That's an important caveat, I believe. And it is 1,700 pages, and it's only ever had one printing, because apparently it's not that good. Madison Cooper Jr. himself was he was a man of means. This is sort of famously, he has a lot of kind of lightly fictionalized people from his real life, and it was apparently very scandalous. So who knows if that's the reason why people say it's bad, because the people that read it were probably a bit miffed. But it covers the first half of the 20th century in this, you know, fictionalized town called Sironia, which is basically Waco. No dust jacket, but the binding on these is really pretty good. Easily the best smelling book, by the way. Just... oh, yeah. Smelling books is like drugs for me. And so, yeah, those were 5 kind of unusual, rare books. As usual, I don't know how to end videos. I think I'm going to do another one of these videos with signed books that I have. One of them's a Nobel Prize winner. Who will it be? Thanks for watching. I don't know when I'm gonna throw this up on the channel, but probably in between book reviews. It'll just be a fun little treat. Okay, that's all. Bye.